Your suitcase is packed. Sunscreen, swimsuits, flip-flops. You're already picturing turquoise water and unlimited buffet. Then your bag goes through the scanner. Security pauses. They look at the screen. They look at you. And just like that, your vacation almost ends before it even begins. Cruise lines don't just suggest rules. They enforce them. And every single sailing, passengers show up with items that get confiscated, delayed, or worse, flagged. Today we're breaking down 7 items cruise lines absolutely hate when you bring on board. Some are obvious. Some are surprisingly common. And one of them has gotten passengers permanently banned. If you've ever packed for a cruise, there's a real chance at least one of these has been in your suitcase. Let's start with the one that shocks almost everyone. Number 7. Surge protectors and extension cords. It sounds harmless. You just want to charge your phone, your watch, your camera, maybe a portable fan. Cruise cabins are notorious for having limited outlets, so tossing a power strip into your bag feels smart. Except most cruise lines ban them outright. Not because they're inconvenient. Because they're dangerous. Modern cruise ships are floating cities powered by complex electrical systems. A surge protector with built-in surge suppression can interfere with that system. And in the worst case, it can overheat. Fire at sea is not like fire on land. There is nowhere to escape. Nowhere to pull over. That's why cruise lines are obsessive about anything that could spark one. Security knows exactly what these look like on an X-ray. If it has a thick cord and multiple sockets, it's getting pulled. Some passengers argue. Some claim they didn't know. It doesn't matter. The item gets confiscated and held until the end of the cruise. And here's the twist. You can still bring certain types of adapters. Non-surge USB hubs are usually allowed. The difference is small. The consequences aren't. If you thought that rule was strict, wait until you hear what happens with alcohol. Number 6. Alcohol. This is where a lot of first-time cruisers get caught off guard. Most major cruise lines allow you to bring a limited amount of wine on embarkation day only. Usually 1 or 2 bottles per adult. But hard liquor? Beer? Large quantities? That's a different story. Those get confiscated immediately. Why? Because beverage sales are one of the biggest revenue streams on board. When you bring your own alcohol, the cruise line loses that income. Some passengers try to outsmart the system. They pour liquor into mouthwash bottles. They hide mini bottles inside shoes. They seal spirits inside shampoo containers. Security has seen every trick. Every single one. The bags go through scanners similar to airport security. Liquids show up clearly. If something looks suspicious, they open the bag right there. Sometimes they'll tag it and return it at the end of the cruise. Other times it's disposed of completely. And if you open one of your allowed wine bottles at dinner, expect a corkage fee. But alcohol isn't even the most commonly confiscated item. Number 5. Weapons. Including the ones people don't think count. Obviously, firearms are banned. That's not surprising. But what about a small pocket knife you forgot was clipped inside your backpack? What about pepper spray you carry for safety? Even certain sporting equipment can trigger confiscation. Cruise ships operate under maritime law. That means different jurisdictions can apply depending on where the ship is sailing. The cruise line doesn't want anything on board that could escalate into a security issue. Even a tiny blade can be flagged. Passengers are often shocked when something they carry daily gets taken away. Some argue it's for personal protection. The ship sees it differently. They're responsible for thousands of people in a confined space. Zero tolerance is easier than case-by-case judgment. And here's where the stakes rise. If a prohibited weapon is discovered and not declared, port authorities can get involved. That means delays, questioning, in extreme cases, denied boarding. But still, most people expect weapon rules. The next one catches families completely off guard. Number 4. Candles, incense, and anything that burns. You'd think this would be obvious. Open flame on a ship is a bad idea. But passengers still pack birthday candles for celebrations. Scented candles to make the cabin cozy. Incense for relaxation. All of it is banned. Again, it comes down to fire risk. Cruise ships are engineered with strict fire prevention systems. Cabins are monitored. Smoke detectors are sensitive. Lighting a candle for even a few minutes can trigger alarms. And when an alarm goes off at sea, the crew treats it as a real emergency until proven otherwise. That means response teams. Investigation. Reports. It's not worth the risk. And the ban doesn't stop at candles. Certain heated fragrance devices and anything with an exposed heating element can fall into the same category. Confiscated. Every cruise has a pile of these items collected during embarkation. A strange museum of good intentions. But if you were planning to bring something to press your clothes for formal night, you might want to think twice. Because the next item is one people swear they need. And it almost never makes it past security. Number 3. Appliances and heating devices. This is where expectations collide with reality. You board the ship. You open your suitcase. You pull out a small travel iron because you want your formal night outfit looking perfect. Confiscated. Portable steamer? Confiscated. Hot plate for late night noodles? Definitely confiscated. Even certain coffee makers can get flagged. It feels excessive until you understand what's happening behind the walls of your cabin. Cruise ships run on carefully balanced electrical systems. Every outlet, every watt, every circuit is calculated. When hundreds of passengers plug in heating devices at the same time, it increases the risk of overload. An overload at sea is not just inconvenient. It's dangerous. Heating coils can malfunction. Cheap travel appliances can spark. A device tipping over in a compact cabin can ignite carpet or bedding in seconds. That's why cruise lines take a zero-tolerance approach. And here's something most people don't realize. Your cabin steward is trained to spot them. If they see an iron sitting on the desk during routine cleaning, they're required to report it. The item disappears before you return from the pool. No argument. No warning. But cruise lines aren't trying to ruin formal night. Most ships have self-service laundry rooms with approved irons. Some offer pressing services for a fee. There's always an official solution. The unofficial one is what gets you flagged. Now here's where things get interesting. The next item isn't about fire. It isn't about electricity. It's about control. Number 2. Drones. This one surprises content creators the most. You're sailing through crystal blue Caribbean waters. Ancient cliffs. European coastlines. Tropical islands. You imagine launching your drone for that perfect cinematic shot. Security already imagined that too. Most major cruise lines ban drones entirely. If you bring one, it's often confiscated at embarkation and held until the cruise ends. Why? Privacy. Think about it. Thousands of passengers sunbathing, swimming, relaxing on balconies. A drone hovering overhead isn't just cool footage. It's a potential violation. Then there's port regulations. Many ports around the world have strict no-drone policies. Flying one without proper clearance can result in fines or legal trouble for the operator. And guess who gets blamed when a passenger launches a drone from the top deck without permission? The cruise line. So they eliminate the risk entirely. There have been cases where passengers tried to sneak drones on board in camera bags, hoping security wouldn't notice. They notice. Modern scanners detect the battery shapes immediately. Lithium batteries alone can trigger inspection. And if you somehow manage to get it on board and launch it mid-cruise, cruise security responds fast. Best case scenario, it's confiscated. Worst case scenario, you're meeting security officers in a small office instead of enjoying sunset on the deck. But even drones aren't the most serious item on this list. Because the final one doesn't just get confiscated. It can end your cruise before it starts. And it catches more people than you think. Before we get there, let's zoom out for a second. Notice a pattern? Fire risk. Electrical risk. Security risk. Privacy risk. Cruise ships are floating ecosystems. Once the gangway lifts, you're in a controlled environment with limited exits and thousands of strangers. That's why enforcement feels stricter than a hotel or resort on land. And that's also why the number one item is treated differently than all the others. Number 1. Illegal substances. Here's where assumptions get people into real trouble. Some passengers board in states or countries where certain substances are legal. They assume that legality carries over. It doesn't. Cruise ships often operate under federal maritime law once they leave port. Even while docked, different jurisdictions can apply. That means something legal in your home state can still be prohibited on board. Cruise lines have clear zero-tolerance policies. If illegal drugs are discovered during embarkation screening, security does not simply confiscate them. Port authorities may get involved. That can mean denied boarding, arrest, fines, and yes, permanent bans from the cruise line. There are documented cases of passengers missing sail away because their luggage screening revealed prohibited substances. While the ship prepares to depart, they're in a security office explaining themselves to officials. And the ship does not wait. It's a harsh reality. The vacation everyone plan continues without them. Even medical marijuana cards don't override cruise line policies. The ship's rules are separate from state laws. And it's not just drugs. Certain controlled medications without proper documentation can raise red flags as well. Always carry prescriptions in original labeled containers. Cruise lines are not trying to make examples out of people. They're protecting the ship's operating license, international agreements, and the safety of everyone on board. But here's the part most people miss. It's not only about what's illegal. It's about what's declared. Failing to disclose something prohibited can escalate the situation. Security views concealment differently than honest mistakes. Which brings us back to that opening moment. Your suitcase sliding into the scanner. That quiet pause. That glance between security officers. At that point, your vacation isn't about ocean views or buffet lines. It's about what you decided to pack. And we're not done yet. Because there's one more layer to this that almost nobody talks about. Some items aren't just banned. They're restricted in ways that create unexpected consequences. And if you've ever thought, it's just a small version, they won't care, you'll want to hear this. In the final part, we're breaking down rapid-fire mistakes passengers make, how cruise lines actually screen luggage behind the scenes, and the simple packing strategy that keeps your bag moving smoothly while everyone else is getting pulled aside. Because on a cruise, the fastest way to start relaxing is making sure security never has a reason to stop you. If this video was worth your time, a like is the best way to support our channel. And if you'd like to be here for what comes next, subscribe and stay with us. There's always more ahead. As always, stay curious, and I'll see you at sea.